The Walmart FLW Tour and Beaver Lake have a rich tradition of producing winners. Each year it's the same lake, but each year it's a different set of conditions that determines the winner. On day one, 173 boats hit the water under warm, calm conditions, but it would not stay that way. By mid-morning, steady 20 to 25 mile an hour south winds howled down the lake's straightaways. Let the wind be your friend is a common saying on Beaver Lake. When the lake's clear waters are ruffled by wind, it seems to make the fish bite. Another common theme on day one, smallmouth. A lot of brown fish, cold spotted bass out of the leaders' bags. Certainly, Beaver Lake's smallmouth fishery has come a long way since the FLW Tour's early visits here. And finally, as the old saying goes, when you're hot, you're hot. There's no denying momentum in tournament fishing. Just ask your day one leader, Bryan Thrift, who is fresh off a win at Sam Rayburn just 2 weeks ago.
Fresh off a win at Sam Rayburn, trying to make it back to back. Of course, in practice, you said it was tough and it was difficult, not a lot of bites. But I mean, and we always give you a lot of grief for making all that up. But I know that once you get out on the water and you've had a bad practice, you basically just go fishing again and feel your way around the lake, and that's kind of what you did today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did today. I didn't know where I was going to start or where I was going to go for stop number 2 or 3 or 4 all day long. I'd run somewhere, and if it looked good and there wasn't nobody around or no boats were in the area, I'd run over there and fish for a little bit and go somewhere else. And it was one of those magical days for Beaver Lake. I can't explain it. It just seemed like every time I stopped the boat, I'd catch a 2 to 3 pounder.
When we talked the other day in a pre-tournament interview, I said maybe Bryan Thrift fixing to get on one of those rolls, and you said, I don't know, I might be. And I know that's not like saying oh, I'm getting ready to smoke them. You just get that feeling inside like you're making the right decision, things are going your way, and today really told the tale of that.
Yeah, today really went my way. I mean, I caught a 5-pound largemouth on a shaky head with 6-pound P-line and little Demiki, finesse Mickey worm. And as soon as I put him in the net, I mean, I hadn't retied all day. It's about 11 o'clock. As soon as we got him in the net, the line broke. So that was a gift from the good Lord right there. And it's just all day things like that were happening. I mean, it was just a perfect day on Beaver Lake. I can't explain it. Don't know if I can go out tomorrow and catch anything, but we're going to go have fun.
Did you chase wind today? Did you try and make wind a part of your game plan?
I tried to, especially after I had a decent limit, after I had probably 11 and a half or 12 pounds. I started trying to run the wind to see if I could figure out how to get a big bite. And fortunately, I pulled up on the right little stretch of bank and caught a couple good ones, and it worked out. But, I mean, I fished probably 30 places in the wind that I never got a bite. So it's so random here. You never really know. I don't know how guys come here and find a place and they know they're going to get a bite, because I've been coming here for 7 or 8 years now, and I still haven't found a place that I know I can pull up and catch one.
You mentioned the shaky head. It seems like every time we come here, no matter how people try to get away with it with jerk baits or wiggle warts or anything, somehow a shaky head always comes in big here.
Yeah, this water's so clear. I mean, especially you get down the lake, good Lord, you can see a shaky head in 12 feet of water. I mean, so that's about the only option you have unless they'll chase something. And I couldn't get them to chase anything today, so maybe tomorrow they'll get a little more active and want to bite a moving bait. But we're just going to go have fun and see what happens.
Thanks, Bryan. Spencer, coming into this thing as just a kind of a lame brain reporter, I just thought stained water would be a big deal here. But as this thing rolls on, we're seeing more and more guys that come from the clear water, bringing some nice smallmouth in, kicker smallmouth, some nice spotted bass, kind of making up the difference. And I know you like that clear water.
Oh, I do. I mean, I love the clear water. I mean, that's my forte. I like it all, really. I mean, I don't have any strength better than another, but I really like fishing clear water. I like being able to see my bait coming back to the boat. You can see fish that don't get it. You can still see that they're there, and it helps you figure out other ways that they can bite, and then you take that and get on a pattern line. And that's a lot of what has happened this week. Okay. I be throwing something and the fish wouldn't commit to it, but you see these 2s and 3s and 3.5s and 4s following your bait in and wouldn't eat it, and you just keep going through stuff, going through your tackle box, going through, and then finally you figure out, boom, there it is, it clicks, they're eating it. And, that's why I like fishing down at clear water, You see bottom of 20 foot of water, you can see them big old black smallmouth swimming around, whatever, and spots, and it's fun. But, I'm doing what I like to do. I'm covering a lot of water and catching a lot of good quality fish, too.
The wind, big factor today. Did you try and seek it out? Did you try and get in it to ruffle up the surface? Did you try and get out of it so you could see in the water better? What was the plan?
No, I mean, honestly, the wind here is good when you're down there. When you see bottom of 20 foot of water, wind's never going to hurt. And I actually fished the wind today. I do have a backup pattern that last year what really hurt me is I had 16 pounds the first day and the wind was blowing just like today. And the next day it was dead calm slick and I didn't have anything to fall off on. They wouldn't bite the reaction baits. This year I made sure I had a backup plan and I did get on a little something that's pretty special, I think, if the wind does happen to die off. But hopefully I don't have to go to that. But what I like about down there is at any cast you can catch a 4-pound largemouth, 4-pound smallmouth, or a 4-pound spot, and that you can't do that everywhere. There's just a handful of lakes in the country that you've got that chance of happening, and this is one of them, and so it's pretty special. That's one reason I keep myself on that end of the lake.
Steve, my main question today is all about the wind. Crazy wind here at Beaver Lake. Did you seek it out? Did you try and get in it? Try to get out of it? Did you not even care?
I tried to get out of it a little bit. It was almost impossible to fish. It was hard to fish. Even on 100% high, you weren't making any progress. So I was trying to find places that were a little bit sheltered anyway. I mean, I wanted some wind coming in, but not that crazy stuff.
Your bag today, I didn't get a chance to see it. Spots, largemouth, what'd you have?
4 largemouth, 1 spot, and I had another largemouth that weighed the same as a spot. I just kept it because I caught it on a swim bait. So,
how many on the day for you?
Only 1 on the swim bait, but I had probably 7, 8 keepers all day, and at least that many shorts for sure.
You prefer the clear water here, the stained water? What's more your druthers?
I'm liking the stained water coming down the river. The stain's getting down further than it ever has, and it's helping me.
I understand. One last question for you. Rayburn there, you're all over that snagless Sally. I got to know if that's working again.
I have not thrown it. Didn't throw it in practice. Didn't throw it today. But I honestly think I could have caught one, and I will definitely make a few casts with it before the tournament's over with. So.
The snagless Sally's coming back.
Later.
Eric, you're just telling me a little bit that you're a guide over on Table Rock. Come over here to Beaver Lake. I'm thinking not a whole lot of difference.
The only difference is that this lake is so much more clear than what Table Rock gets. At times we'll get visibility up to 30 feet over on Table Rock, but it's pretty much the deal here. I love to fish in clear water. I like using the light line, and especially this time of year. Most people don't realize the abundance of smallmouth that we have in this lake. Beaver Lake is one of the top 10 in my book for smallmouth fishing. So, it's a pretty awesome place.
And today, I think you told me your bag you weighed in was 4 smallmouth, one spotted bass?
Yeah, I had 4 smallmouth and 1 spot. I had about 15 or 16 keepers today, and really didn't get the ball rolling till about after 10 o'clock, and then it was just lights out. But I came in about an hour and a half early. I felt like I had good weight to keep me in the top 5 or top 10, and I don't want to bang on those fish too much.
Right, I understand. Clear water, I presume. You said you like it. I presume that's kind of what you're fishing here?
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm a power fisherman. I love to fish shallow and get in the dirty stuff, but this time of year, this lake is really just set up. I was praying, Rob, for a long, hard winter, and that's what we got. We got it. Unfortunately, we got it, and unfortunately, everywhere else is really experimenting. But, this thing is just really set up, and I've told my wife from the get-go, 6-7 months out, whenever this tournament was announced, the dates, I literally have had goosebumps the entire time. So I told my wife before I left that this could be a really special week.
Wow, sounds good. It sounds like you like the clear water and you really like the smallmouth. My question next is, I know that those smallmouth here sometimes are some of the first to go on beds. How close do you feel smallmouth are to being on bed on this lake right now?
I don't think they're too awful close, realistically. Okay. I've had a lot of history, fishing out here, fishing different tournaments and stuff out here, and realistically in practice, I was a little worried. I was actually, are we a little too early? Is this just setting up? And I think that these smallmouth are really just starting to get going, it just absolutely excites me.
Okay. Right in your wheelhouse.
Right in my wheelhouse.
Sounds good. Thanks, Eric. Our champion from Hartwell, Casey Ashley, I know that probably what's more important on your mind right now is making that Forest Wood Cup at Lake Murray. We've talked about that. And you come into these tournaments, I'm guessing just thinking points, but it's starting to look pretty good. Maybe a chance for another win this year?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I came here and practiced for 3 days, daylight to dark. I knew this was a tough lake, and, I just tried to see as much of it as I could. And I didn't really have a great practice. I actually practiced again today. I mean, I knew with the wind blowing, that makes this fish bite here, and tried to cover as much water. I did find one little area, I only got 3 bites in there, but they're all good ones. All 3 of my big ones came from there, so I'll definitely start in there in the morning and see if I can. I caught a lot of fish today. It's hard to get that good bite. It's hard to get a 2.5 pounder, really.
Tell me about the wind. Her big wind today. Did that help you? Were you trying to hunt it? Were you trying to stay in the wind, out of it? What was your game?
I was fishing the wind. Like I said, a Clearwater lake like this, if you don't have clouds, you got to have wind. And when the wind blowing, I don't know what it blew today, at least 20, all day long. And that makes them bite here. It muddies up the shoreline, and the fish pull up shallow. The big fish will anyway. And it's just easier to catch them. I caught a lot more fish today than I've caught in all 3 days of practice combined. it was I had a great day.
That's a perfect day to do it on. Were you more fishing in the Stained, or are you in that gin clear water?
I'm in the clear water. I went up the river and fished Stained water, and I've talked to a lot of guys. I'm rooming with Bryan Thrift, and he told me, he said, boy, that river will burn you. You got to be careful. So I just kept that in mind. I went up there and practiced and caught a bunch of small ones, and I just forget it. I know the big ones live in the clear water, and it's more of a stable deal this time of year, and that's where I chose to stay.
Now tomorrow, if it gets slick, what are you going to do? You probably don't even want to think about that. If it slicks off, what are you going to do?
I told my co-angler today, I said, man, if it gets slick tomorrow, it is going to be tough. I mean, some more kind of tough, and it will. I'll just slow down, throw the shaky head, I don't like to throw it, but it's been good to me. So I weighed 3 on it today. All 3 of my big ones come on it today. So just go try to find some more stuff that looks like that.
Like you said, all the big tournaments you've ever won, you've always had a shaky head in your hand.
Yeah, it's always a player. It's not something that's gonna, you can just throw it all the time and you'll win. But it does play into the day, either to catch you a couple of keeper fish or cull 1 or 2 fish. But when you fish a clear lake like this, you've got to have a shaky head. I mean, I've got 3 of them tied on, but you can't live without it on a lake like this.
Adrian, blowing out there, 25, 30 miles an hour at times. My question is, did you go seek the wind to get in it? Did you try and get out of the wind, or was it even a factor in your day?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a factor. I think it helped me. I'm fishing a lot of clear water throughout the day, and this water's like drinking water. It's bath water out there, so you want something to make a little disturbance. So this fish don't see as good. So I was fishing in the wind. I wasn't hiding from it. The more wind, the better for me. Looks like tomorrow we might not have as much wind, so we'll just see how it goes.
Did you commit to the clear water today? I mean, is that where you spent your entire day?
Yeah, I'd say 90% of the day. I fished, so in an 8-hour tournament day, I probably fished about 7 hours or so, at least in that clear water. But I did catch one of my key fish in the Stained, so we'll just have to mix it up tomorrow and see what happens.